Well, our top focus this evening, the battle for the 17 Lok Sabha seats of Telangana and for the 25 Lok Sabha and 175 assembly seats of Andhra Pradesh, which go to simultaneous polls in phase 4. The campaign gets intense. Prime Minister Modi was in Telangana during the day and will be holding a roadshow in Vijayawada shortly in Andhra Pradesh this evening. Speaking at a public rally in Telangana, the Prime Minister launched a renewed offensive on both Rahul Gandhi and Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, repeating his allegations of an RR tax. He also claimed that Rahul Gandhi had gone silent on accusations against his campaign against industrial houses. The Congress hit back sharply at the Prime Minister for making the allegations. And Priyanka Gandhi Vadra said Rahul Gandhi had remained firm on issues he has raised. Rahul is scheduled to campaign in Telangana tomorrow as the two Telugu-speaking states head to polls in phase 4 on the 13th of May.
जब से चुनाव घोषित हुआ है, इन्होंने अंबानी अडानी को गाली देना बंद कर दिया। मैं आज तेलंगाना की धरती से पूछना चाहता हूं, जरा ये साझा दे घोषित करें कि चुनाव में ये अंबानी अडानी से कितना माल उठाया है, काले धन के कितने बोरे भर करके रुपये मारे हैं, क्या टेम्पो भर करके नोटे कांग्रेस के लिए पहुंची है, क्या सौदा हुआ है। आपने रातों रात अंबानी अडानी इनको गाली देना बंद कर दिया। जरूर दाल में कुछ काला है। 5 साल तक अंबानी अडानी को गाली दी और रातों रात गालियां बंद हो गई। मतलब कोई न कोई चोरी का माल टेम्पो भर भर करके आपने पाया है।
जो प्रधानमंत्री जो फुल टॉस पे खेलते हैं ना, तो इन्हीं फिजूल की बातों पे फुल टॉस खेलते हैं। मैं उनको चैलेंज करती हूँ, आप फुल टॉस खेलिए रोजगार पे, फुल टॉस खेलिए महंगाई पे, फुल टॉस खेलिए महिलाओं पे जो अत्याचार हो रहा है और जो अत्याचार कर रहे हैं उनको बचा रहे हैं, उस पे खेलिए। फिर मैं मानूंगी कि हाँ कोई खेला है।
Well, from the sharp exchange to some breaking news that's coming in at the moment. Sam Pitroda, who had embarrassed the Congress party not once but twice in the recent election campaign, first with his inheritance tax comments and later with his comments about India's diversity, calling people in the East Chinese and those in the South looking like those in Africa, has decided to step down according to information that we have at the moment. The chairman of Indian Overseas Congress, Rahul Gandhi's advisor, Sam Pitroda, has resigned. The Congress president has accepted his decision, the resignation on his own accord, as per reports coming in now. Nikunj Garg, who brings in that breaking news to us, joins me on the phone line. Nikunj, give us the latest that you're hearing from both sides.
Well, Veera, the fact is that we have just got this information that the Congress president has indeed accepted Mr. Sam Pitroda's resignation as the chairperson of the Indian Overseas Congress. So that is what we can inform our viewers at this point in time. Congress party probably not wanting to make it look like a sacking, as many in their right mind would have demanded, but instead putting out an official tweet by their official spokesperson saying that Sam Pitroda has stepped down out of his own volition and the Congress president has duly accepted his resignation. Many would obviously question that it is too late, too little and too late in the day. However, after a very unsavory saga about very unsavory commentary about various Indian sub-nationalities, as many would say, Mr. Sam Pitroda has probably decided that it's high time that he makes a graceful exit before things get more murky for him and the Congress party in the electoral politics. Because obviously BJP has been, and BJP in the midst of the poll season has got some fresh ammunition to fire at the Congress party, has decided to make it a big issue. So the news that we are breaking at this moment is that Mr. Sam Pitroda has resigned and the Congress president has accepted his resignation.
That's right. As you point out, Nikunj, there, this is not just once. First, it was with the inheritance tax comments, which again the BJP launched into, and now this comment on India's diversity, obviously putting the Congress in a spot at the moment as far as that. So this would be damage control measure. One should see this as damage control in the midst of a fierce election campaign where the temperatures are rising. This is an effort by the Congress to contain the damage because of Sam Pitroda's remarks and making sure that the BJP doesn't have more ammunition to target the party on this issue.
Well, absolutely, Veera Raghav. There is no doubt about this. That Congress party is certainly trying to douse the fire in the damage control mode and trying to ensure that this does not flare up any further than what it has already today. Now, the next round of polling is obviously in 4 days' time from now, and the Congress party would hope that this issue is taken over by something more substantive, and they are able to bring something more substantive that is obviously raising questions at the government into the narrative rather than it be completely carried onto one side, and it's something which is completely reprehensible, repulsive commentary by the chairperson of the Indian Overseas Congress does not take the center stage or the limelight fully, and the next round of voting at least does not get completely swayed by this kind of very, 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 very reprehensible commentary that Mr. Sam Pitroda has made.
That's right. You wouldn't want those comments just ahead of, let's say, a state like Andhra Pradesh and Telangana going to polls, or perhaps states in the northeast or east of India going to the polls. It could have those implications as well. But thanks very much there, Nikunj Dalmia, for that bit of breaking news. Sam Pitroda has offered to resign and his resignation has been accepted. Decision has been accepted by the Congress president. That's the bit of information that we can give you at the moment. But now shifting back to the battle for Telangana and the battle for Andhra Pradesh, which is getting intense. We heard the Prime Minister take on Revanth, Reddy and Rahul Gandhi there in Telangana. He's in Vijayawada, as we mentioned. A sharp exchange playing out there, making sense of it. To help us make sense of it this evening, we have Sandeep Shastri, of the Lokniti Network, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, as well as Uma Sudhir, who joins us from Hyderabad. Professor Sandeep Shastri, the underlying theme seems to be, apart from the Modi versus Rahul battle, also the Prime Minister versus the strong chief ministers in states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, as well as Telangana. Largely that kind of a personality contest that's playing out, would you agree, as far as the southern states at least are concerned?
Veera, where is there a chance to disagree with you on that? If you see states where the Congress is in power and states where regional parties are in power, the fight in this election is clearly between the national narrative which the Prime Minister leads and the strong localized narrative which the parties in power in a state are putting up. What you especially see in Andhra and Telangana this time is the BJP and the Prime Minister has to fire two shots at the same time. One on the Congress and the other on the other on the regional party that you have in the state. So that seems to be a very complex exercise which the BJP has to do. And the RR comment in that context in Telangana gains importance. And in Andhra, when he talked about the inability of the state government and the party in power to reach out to people's aspirations, I think that clearly indicates this focusing on the national narrative versus the local narrative. And it will be interesting to see how the voter views this choice between the two narratives made available to her in this election.
It's perhaps the one element that seems to be different this time, the emergence of regional leaders for the Congress who seem to be taking the challenge to the Prime Minister. Rashid, would you see that as possibly a defining feature, perhaps from the southern states, and I'm talking of opposition-ruled southern states? As I ask you that question, I see the Prime Minister we're playing out live pictures from Vijayawada of the Prime Minister's roadshow there.
Yeah, so I think there is also a level of credibility that Siddaramaiah or Revanth Reddy enjoy. Remember, they have one, mandate. They have got many women-centric schemes, guarantees, etc. So therefore, Prime Minister Modi, who loves to target, women voters and things that he would score over the Congress on that count, is not able to match that. And that is where I think, in relative terms, it is a success of the Congress. There is also a factor that if he's saying that there is some kind of corruption that is being practiced by state chief ministers or Rahul Gandhi, the obvious question would be, what is he doing as Prime Minister? If he is against, graft and corruption, he should recover. And we know that, ED and several agencies are very agile when it comes to, so to say, unearthing any act of corruption in the opposition camp. So here there is just, rhetorical, there is just words which is not matched by deeds or any substantive evidence, etc. I think, as my friend Sandeep Shastri was saying, the Congress, more so regional satraps, seems to be, scoring over the Prime Minister.
Right, the Congress, you say, is scoring over the Prime Minister. But a quick question before I go across to Uma Sudhir, because on those pictures, you've got Prime Minister Modi along with Pawan Kalyan and Chandrababu Naidu, and I want Uma to weigh in on the different dynamics as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, where the battle seems to be between the alliance versus Jagan Mohan Reddy. But before I get to Uma, Rashid, very quickly, when it's a state leader, often it's understood as someone who has an advantage in an assembly election. In a national election, a state leader versus a national leader or the Prime Minister, how would that play out? Very briefly.
Yes, I think it's a very tricky thing, and remember, the BJP does not have much support base, and the alliance is also very peculiar between TDP and Jana Party and BJP, because the BJP vote share is just around 3%. So I think Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, who's a very astute player, wanted to earn some kind of insurance policy vis-a-vis Delhi, and that's why he tied up with the BJP there. And it depends how this Andhra election plays out, because YSR Congress is very well placed. Would they come in picture if Mr. Modi falls short of majority in Delhi, in Lok Sabha? That remains to be seen.
Well, that's as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. In fact, Uma, really that election there, as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, it's two separate elections, one for the Assembly, one for the Lok Sabha. Largely a battle between an alliance versus Jagan Mohan Reddy's welfare schemes. Would that be the defining theme as we play those pictures of Prime Minister Modi's roadshow there in Vijayawada?
Veera, before we go to Andhra Pradesh, just a quick comment on Telangana, the Prime Minister's comment about the kind of observations that were made by Mr. Sam Pitroda. What I must point out is that with the regional player not really strong in this particular case, and the BJP and the Congress almost in a straight fight in Telangana, and the perception that the BJP is fighting of being in fact a party which is from the north of the country and not really a southern party, whereas the Congress said to have a national kind of should I say acceptance. This comment that the Prime Minister has picked up to speak about or criticize in Telangana is another way of telling the people that the Congress is having a southern bias against people from the south of the country, and that's why you need to watch out that they are not really the national party that you are expecting them to be or thinking of them to be. Yes, he is attacking Revanth Reddy on the issue of RR tax. Of course, elections at the time that you use the most commonly understood kind of a parlance, and that's why he brought in the reference to Rajamouli's RRR and said that if they have had connections of 1,300 crore rupees, Revanth Reddy too is having proportions of the same level. He has not in fact mentioned Revanth Reddy. Instead, he is saying RR, which is easily understood, and he also says that the money is being sent to another R in Delhi, not anyone's, I don't need to elaborate who he is referring to. Coming to Andhra Pradesh now, that's the place where, in fact, yes, the BJP is not having a ground strength, but like Mr. Kidwai mentioned, yes, the reason why Chandrababu Naidu was very keen to be friends with the BJP and have them as part of his alliance is because his operation, his election, all of that may become a little simpler, easier. for the people of Andhra Pradesh, it was very interesting that only now, much after the alliance happened, not in the first meeting, Chilakaluripeta meeting, but much later, that the Prime Minister started criticizing at least the YSRCP government, Jagan Mohan Reddy's government, calling them corrupt. Remember that in the last 5 years, relations between the TDP and the BJP have not been in the best of terms. But the relationship with YSRCP and Jagan Mohan Reddy have been good, have been almost pleasant, cordial, and they were looking like good friends. And that's the reason why the Prime Minister needed to dispel that notion and therefore criticize. So he is now taking that roadshow from Indira Gandhi Stadium to Ben Circle. It's a 3-kilometer length of road that he will be covering, and with having all those members of the candidates of the different parties of the alliance with him on that roadshow, Pawan Kalyan and Chandrababu Naidu very prominently with him. So your thoughts don't go back to that time when the period of coldness between them, or when the BJP was giving them a cold shoulder, but to say that no, we are now with the Naidu, with the TDP and with the Janasena, and the message goes down to the cadre, and they perhaps will start, the chemistry will start working better just 4 days before the elections. Back to you.
So you're saying chemistry will start working better, but Uma Sudhir had an insight into that chemistry. She interviewed perhaps the man who could be, at least the BJP and TDP hopes will be the X factor in these elections. As I thank Sandeep Shastri and Rashid Kidwai, will play for you Uma Sudhir's interview with Pawan Kalyan earlier in the day.